Good morning. I just felt called to come on and say hi and talk about cycles and seasons. And I'm not really sure what I want to say, but I'm trusting that it will come. Yes. So there are a lot of cycles. We've got the seasons, the moon, the menstrual cycle for all us women out there, and we've got like the cycle of the week as well for a lot of people, and then different cycles of energy during the day. Lauren, no, you finally managed to catch me live. Good morning. Mwah, mwah. Maybe that's why I felt called to come on now, because I wasn't planning on it. Yay, we got each other. Yeah, so are there any cycles, Lauren, that particularly like jump out at you? I don't know if you just caught the beginning, but there are the seasons, and there's the moon, and our menstrual cycle, which some people like to call our moon cycle, which is interesting because often it can change. It doesn't necessarily go with the moon phases, and the cycle of the week. And the cycle of the day, everyone goes, oh yeah, there's that, 3:30itis, or from 2 o'clock, it's like that waning kind of time before the dark at night, and then the rise in the morning. Oh, this is so relevant to you right now. Oh, eating cycles tying in with menstrual cycles. Yes, I so hear you on that. And it's interesting because we often crave, like, well, I don't know, for me it's like hot chips or something. But what we would typically call junk food, or what we tell the kids sometimes food, during our period and often leading up to it. And it's interesting because our body wants some extra nourishment, or I find mine does. And if I eat really nutritious food, my body totally loves it. But at the same time, my energy is kind of a bit low, and I don't really, often feel like, I'm just unmotivated, which is probably not the right word. But if I'm really trying hard and I'm unmotivated, it's like it's actually me resisting. On. It just said there was a poor connection, so I hope I'm not cutting out on you. Let me know if you can type in the comments, and if you're still receiving me. And it's basically like our energy is like nourish, rest, and we actually don't change anything in our lives, and so it can be quite tricky. It can be really tricky, and that's with lots of seasons. Winter is like, a calmer internal, oh, yep, all good, awesome, thank you. A more reflective phase. So all of the cycles, you've got your new, and the energy's building up, and the energy's building up. And then you've got the full, everything's coming to fruition, and also you've got, often the full moon, everything's a light is shone. So you've got that point where you're like, yes, I'm here, this is what I want, and then you kind of go, oh, hang on, I want to pick those bits out, which is a little bit like the waning cycle. And like, I'm just winding down and I'm getting rid of things, and I'm nurturing that a little bit more before the new. So I think often when we resist the cycles, or we don't like the cycles, or we want to eat lots of food, and then we're judging ourselves, a lot of that. Or we're trying to go out and we don't feel like it, and we're just like, if it's not a fear thing, and you just unless it's something you have to work through the resistance, but that's a whole nother live and a whole nother post, and oh my gosh, could be a whole course. Yes, so what was I saying about the resistance? So it's when we're trying to force ourselves to do something that we're not feeling in sync with. So Okay, the tricky question. How do you start a new cycle, like to break a cycle? Oh, I like that. Well, what I'm feeling almost immediately is that, well, you know, we could talk about where the moon is during your period as well, which sometimes corresponds with, you know, the dark moon and releasing, and sometimes it's not, it's the full moon, and it just depends. And sometimes it's anywhere in the middle. So my first thought though is to, it's for you specifically, there you go, and I'm sure it resonates with whoever else is going to watch the replay. Is it you to make it really like oh no, hang on, I've got to jump back one step. So what I no, hang on, two ideas, okay? If I miss one about ritual, here's one about the calendar. So, you know, if I miss one, call me back to the other. So there was a post on Mystic Medusa recently, and it was about someone who highlighted like the days around the moon, the moons, the dark moon, and her cycle, so she knew when to like take it easy and rest and be prepared for that extra, wanting that extra nourishment to boost herself, which I loved. And I marked the dark moon and the full moon in my diary, and well, my cycle was with the moon, and now it's not. So that's a post in Everyday Magic, or maybe I'll do a video in Everyday Magic and tell you all about that, and how it works. But it was a great experience because I was used to working with the moon cycle and kind of letting go, which is now coming into the ritual. So with the dark moon, letting go, you know, and I'm feeling burying really strongly in this life, to, you know, bury those things, return them to the earth, and then let the nutrients from that and the nourishment from that come up into the new cycle. So Loz, tell me if you're with me on this. And yeah, so then, you know, you grow the new and you start the new and you have the intention for the new. Yeah, so I'm really feeling like, and I don't know if it's specifically for you or it probably applies to more people, but it's, you know, a strong message about marking it out, really marking it out, and defining. Yeah, hanging on every word. Oh, I love you. I'm so grateful that, you know, we have this interaction that we can, you know, give and receive, and yeah, I just love how much, you know, how much you're thriving and flourishing and all of that, and I'm so grateful that I can contribute to that. Anyway, coming back to that, I'm really feeling the mark out, like, okay, so mark it out. This is the end. For you, you need to be like, this is the end of the cycle, right? This is the end of it, and this is the new. I feel like you need a really clear distinction between the two. Does that resonate with you? And you can let me know. And yeah, it's really interesting. So I think marking on that calendar, oh, tears, so much love to your tears. Yes, you really are doing so much, and yeah, you are thriving and flourishing, and I think sometimes it doesn't always feel like that. And, you know, guidance does help, and I know, you know, lots of my work has really helped you, and, you know, that's why I do it, you know, to get it out there, because it's made such a difference to my life, and I really, you know, I would love everybody to be able to connect and with their own magic, and like, life is just so, I mean, you know, it's not that it's all, you know, rainbows and sunshine, or whatever they say. Well, you know, there are always rainbows and sunshine, really, I think. But, you know, it's not that there aren't storm clouds passing over every now and again, but it's working with the cycles, what they're telling us, you know, how we're working with them, it's the opportunities they bring. Yes, so are you feeling the distinction between like, okay, this is the end, and this is, you really need like an intention to start with, and not give yourself a hard time in that dark bit. Oh, there's somebody else joining us. Hello, hello, person number 2. Please feel free to type in about cycles. Other person who is here, thank you for tuning in. And yeah, Loz, so if it's that real distinction and that real clear intention, and not giving yourself that hard time in that, and the judgment in that, you know, like this, my last period, I just went, I'm just going to eat what I want. Trace, hi. Oh, you work against the cycles. I so hear you on that. Yeah, we have a lot of resistance, and particularly the way our life is, it doesn't, or our lifestyle in Western culture, it doesn't often support that. But you know, that's what everyday magic is about. It's working with it. Hi Trace, I'm so glad you could be here, Trace, for the live as well. Another beautiful woman who is, you know, working and thriving, and I know you don't feel like it either. But you know, the magic's there to guide us, and it's, you know, the magic is within us. I'm here to support you, but the magic is within us. So, Loz, let me know if you're feeling that. And I was saying, yeah, so I did not judge myself. I ate, you know, I got those hot chips, and, you know, I'm a little bit sad to say they were even, like, I got, it was extreme because I was resisting it. And this is where I went, just stop judging it. I got Uber Eats, large fries from McDonald's, and I was like, oh my gosh. Because, you know, I cook whole food, and oh yeah, you have to tend to your kids. Of course, you'll PM me tonight, no worries. Do tend to the children. They've probably got a little messenger. They're little messengers. They've probably got a little message for you now. Yes, so no need to apologize when you have to go, and you're very welcome. Yes, so resisting, Trace, I was like, why am I doing it? So much resistance actually builds it up, and then there's so, like, you just, you tend to have a blowout because, you know, you're resisting. And, oh yeah, and watch tonight when you come back. Thanks, Loz, yes. And I'd love to hear what you think for the rest of it when you come back. So, where was I? Yeah, so the last, my last cycle, when I was feeling, you know, because the waning moon, I'm pretty good. Just before the dark moon, I don't make too many plans, and I really accept that, that, you know, things will just be a bit quieter. I want to be a bit quieter. I even think, well, sometimes, you know, Hugh doesn't want to go to preschool. Well, that's not ongoing. No, well, actually, it's changing. It's changing. I'm not going to say it's ongoing. I'm going to live in the present. Emma, hi. Oh, my gosh. Oh, I'm so honored that all of these beautiful, special, thriving women are joining me this morning. Resistance and then a blowout. Yes, and working on moderation. Yes, yes, because we've got that judgment and we're like, no. And then, that's that. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but I think it does. Yes, and so going with that, so as I said, the dark moon. So, you know, when you're feeling low in your cycle, whatever that is for you, like, and I know right before our period we get, you know, the whole, oh, it's just PMS, it's just PMS. But these things are real. And it's because they're being brought up to show us what it is that we're ready to let go of. So when we bleed and we lose, you know, I want to say, I don't want to say dispose of, but a similar word, like we get rid of it, you know, it's out there. But yeah, so it leaves us. Oh, I like that, feels good. Yeah. So as everything leaves us, we can, you know, choose that energy to leave the things that we don't want. And then that's our cycle of, so it's not about doing nothing, but it's more internal. It's about, okay, I can do planning here. I can really focus on what I want. These things bother me often, and now they're coming up for me, and I will let them go, and then I will, you know, this is my plan for the new. So, yeah, recently I didn't do a lot of, you know, so in terms of resisting, don't think I'll sit around and do nothing, right? To think, oh, I really want that, you know, whatever, chocolate biscuit. And I, you know, but you know, I try to do healthy things as well. Like get that good quality chocolate. You know, you know, Lint is it's what I end up with. And you know, in the Food Magic, there is in the Everyday Magic blog, there's posts about, and I know Marion Rose also talks about this, connecting with what it is you want to receive with the food. So if you want comfort, if you want sweetness in your life, feel it. Like, you know, receive the sweetness. Yeah, and I can see Amber's written, we have to rebel against all the no. We tell ourselves yes. So I'm working on saying yes to more nurturing things, experiences, yes. And as a result, you've lost 6 kilos in a month. Wow. And you feel calmer and ready to look to the future. Proactive, yes. And you know, I love Marion and all of her work. Setting loving limits, which is, you know, I don't know if it's a Marion thing or a parenting thing, but yeah, setting loving limits with yourself. So definitely look at the inner loving presence process and having your inner loving crew there and being like, well, no, I'm not going to let myself, you know, and it's not like, don't judge yourself. It's going to be like, well, no, I hear that. I hear there's a concern. You know, I really value my health. And right now, I'm going to focus on receiving this, you know, focusing what I need. And yeah, and weight is a really interesting thing. Hello, another person's here. We're talking about cycles and flowing and going with them. And yeah, so and weight is a funny thing, you know. For some of us, it can really be energetic, protecting ourselves, resisting, all of that building up. And you know, yeah, often it's a well, in my experience, it's an emotional, energetic thing that that causes the release. You know, we all see on like popular shows like The Biggest Loser that people are they go through that you know, you break down, you have tears, and you know, because often I know for me there's an emotional reason why I'm having that second helping, or I'm having this because I'm uncomfortable, and instead of sitting with my uncomfortable feelings, which again here I'm going to flag the inner loving presence process and the inner loving crew, because that is just amazing to help you do that and have that internal support, and then it reflects on the outside anyway. But definitely, if you've got outside support, go with that. Just be like, oh, can I call you when I, you know, want to eat a whole block of chocolate, and or can I, you know, message you, I want to eat a whole block of chocolate, and then, you know, just think about what you're really feeling and what you're really needing. It may be that you're tired and you're pushing through it, and so what do you need? What can you do right now that's nourishing? Yeah, and again, that's, you know, back to the Food Magic. If eating is a thing, you can change that. You can make it mindful and conscious. There are other kind of magics. If you want warmth, you know, we've been talking about clothes in a few posts. Putting that jacket or that you know, the scarf or something that brings you warmth, and really feel it give you that inner warmth and comfort. Yeah. So, and coming back to not ways of still doing without resisting, is really, so yeah, I want to give an example here. So I knew that it was I think it was my period. I can't remember, but yeah, and I knew that I didn't really, you know, I wasn't like, yeah, let's do this, but I still love what I do, and I still receive so much inspiration, and I think on Instagram I shared my Muse coasters. They're in a tin, and they fell down, like I was walking past and they went like bam right in front of me, and the Muse side showed up, which is the underside, and I never see that, and it reminded me that, hang on, even though I am not being as active as I was, you know, a moment ago with different things, I'm still receiving a lot of intuitive information. I am still receiving inspiration for, you know, the Everyday Magic site and all the content, and you know, and all the things that I can share in this group and share with you. So I was still active. It was just more in a The word's coming introverted, but that's not. Yeah, that's yeah. Um, words, you know, you got to see how they feel. So yeah, in a more internal, in a more like, you know, the winter, the waiting, the planning. In terms of, you know, planning and looking, and so administration is good, like not actually actively doing. So if you can work, you know, your schedule around that a little bit and be like, well, you know, I'm not going to go out to this function. Oh, that's my little one. That's Ash, so I'm going to have to go. So I'll wrap up. And yeah, and Amber, you have to go too. So, you know, I think everyone has to go. Hold on, Ash. Yes. So work your schedules around that, and then notice if there's more flow. And I would love to hear about that. So if you can actively plan and you know, I say do more desk work if that's your kind of job, rather than getting out there. Yeah, and with the kids, just work the play dates, maybe quieter things. Yeah, so much love, and thank you for watching. And I will, no worries, Tress. I'd love to hear how you can work that in too. And yeah, let's talk about it and come up with ideas for everybody. Anyway, I must go. Motherhood calls, and I love it. Have a wonderful day.